privileged to introduce Anjanette Whitman. She is currently the track and field and cross-country coach at Lutheran West High School in Rocky River, Ohio. Coach Whitman has been coaching high school cross-country and track and field for 20 years. During her coaching career, she has led teams to finish fifth at the Nike Cross-Country National Championships, 4 state championships, 2 state runner-up titles, and has coached over 24 athletes to compete at the collegiate level. Most of them are Division I schools. At West, during her inaugural season of coaching track and field, the team set 10 new school records and sent 6 athletes to Columbus to compete in the state meet. In cross country, she coached the lowest state meet team score for any girls high school team in all divisions with a score of 28 points. Coach Whitman is a certified level 1, 2, and 3 coach for endurance, jumps, sprints, hurdles, and relays, and also holds certification in strength and conditioning. Coach Whitman is a graduate of Rocky River High School, where she was the state Division II champion in the 1600 meters, and I actually got to see her run that. Yes, I did. And went on to compete at the University of Virginia, where she was an NCAA national qualifier in cross country. So it's my pleasure to introduce Anjanette Whitman.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being here on this nice, chilly, cold morning on Friday. It really is great to see coaches that coach at the younger levels, learning more information. Some of you are veteran coaches, some of you might be coaching for the first time. I see lots of different faces in the audience. So hopefully you'll pick up something. Yes, I do coach at the high school level. I also coordinate our middle school program, and I have coached at the grade school level. So I've coached all the different levels, and maybe a little bit of college officially when I was a student athlete, but that's another story. So I get it. And, when we're coaching, how many of you are teachers in the middle school? Let me ask you that. So a lot of you are teachers? Okay. Who here is a teacher but not in the middle school? Okay. I'm not a teacher. I'm an attorney. Sometimes the people I deal with in court are very similar to middle schoolers. So, I get it. I also can remember what it's like to be a 12-year-old, very awkward. I also am the same height as I was when I was 12. So what you see right here, maybe a little bit more muscular than I was when I was 12, but this is what you got. So we have to go back in time, remember what it's like, or those of you that coach or teach in middle schools, you're faced with it every single day. God bless you all. But it really is a great age to coach. They're willing to learn, and hopefully some of this today will help in the organization, not only of your practices, but we have to kind of look a little beyond that as far as the schedule of the whole season, which can be kind of short. It's a shorter season in the spring for the high schoolers. I think it's even shorter for our middle school programs because you start a little bit later, you might end a little sooner, but now that we have this great state meet for the middle schoolers, what a great opportunity. So I really do encourage you to take advantage of that opportunity for your athletes. So let's get us started here. So we have 3 groups of people that we are going to be working with when we're working with the middle school program, whether you like it or not. We have the coaches, great, good, wonderful. We have the students, they're our mission in life. And then we have the family members. So that's who we're going to be talking about. Each group has a role. Each group has a set of responsibilities. And when you get all those coordinated, that's when something really magical can happen from any level of athlete's perspective. From the very beginner or the kid that might have started doing AAU stuff when they were, 7. We're here to serve everybody. It's a great sport to have. We are not exclusive. We are so inclusive. So, we'll start with the coaches because that's who we know best. We know ourselves. What do we need to do ourselves? Have a plan. Please have a plan. Because as you know, kids pick up on things like instantly. If they see that you are not organized, not ready to go, don't have a plan, they're going to eat you alive. I mean, you know that. You step in front of a classroom every day, and if you don't have a plan, they're all over the place. You have to have a plan, but not just for the students, also for their family members. And it's not just parents, it's family members, because it's a village to take care of these kids. You got kids going all over the place. So have a plan. I want to start by saying establish a very simple schedule that you can post, and I'm going to talk about posting things towards the end of the presentation. But first think, okay, we're getting ready for the season. What facilities do I have available to me? This might seem basic to some of you veterans out there. You can ignore this part of it, that's fine. But what facilities do you have? Do you have a track? The middle school in my district does not have a track. They need to walk, across so many streets and get over to the track at the high school or coordinate when they can use it, because that's their thing. What facilities do you have and when can you use them? So you need to figure that out. You need to know that ahead of time so that you can communicate that to your populations that you need to present to, starting with your athletes. Also weather. I'm from Northeast Ohio. I live literally 1 mile from Lake Erie. 1 mile. It's cold. It's cold. It's windy. It's icy. You have middle schoolers might be coming out for track for the first time, and they show up and they're, okay, we're going outside. It's 23 degrees outside. Do you want them to come back tomorrow? You might need to look at the weather. What's the weather like in your area? You might need to keep them inside for the first week. And really, at a basic level, if you're starting at the 7th grade level and they've never done track before, and they've never been on a big team before, because sometimes middle school teams can be ginormous, you need to start teaching them things. You might need to say, hey, can I get the gym? Can I get a gym and put, 50 kids in there, 100 kids, or maybe only 20 kids or 10 kids, whatever it is. But can I have the gym so that on the first day of practice, I can just teach them to warm up? That's all we're going to do. We're just going to teach them to warm up. You can do that inside. You start to learn their names. You get them, to know where they need to be, that kind of stuff. So very simple. So you really want to keep it simple. So know what facilities you have, when you can use them, and what would be the most effective way to use them. So you're keeping them coming back and wanting some more. Posting it, like I said, I'll talk about how to post it a little bit later, but for the kids, I would do it, like 1 week at a time, have it posted somewhere that's appropriate. For the parents, you might want to offer them a whole season worth of time, or a month's worth at least, that you know, so they know when they need to get their kid and plan life events. They do have a life outside of middle school and track, I guess. I don't know why. But. So just have a plan, make a simple practice schedule so that it's easy to understand for everybody. So, now we need to do this. We need to fill that practice time. What are we going to fill it with? And what I really strongly encourage you to do is talk to the high school program coaches. Especially, you're the feeder program. You are the beginning of it's a program. A track is not a team. Track and field team is not just a team in itself. It's a developmental sport. They're learning skills they may not have ever learned before. So we need to ask the high school coaches, what are you seeing in the athletes that they have? What do they need still? What skills do they need? What level of skills do they need? So talk to your high school coaches and ask them those things. Because what you do will help those athletes to know how to do what they need to do, so they don't need to be re-taught when they get to the higher level of high school, and they can be more productive and feel more accomplished. So when you talk to the high school coaches, some of what you might hear is they have no basic motor skills. How many of you are physical education teachers? Oh, not that many. Wow, 4 of you? Okay. Well, I'm sure you all do a very good job. My husband is a physical education teacher. And he goes after it. He helps them, because he's also my assistant sprint coach. So he wants these kids to have good motor skills. Try to get them out of blocks without falling on their face. So they don't have basic motor skills. And some of them, their coordination, totally none. It's amazing. Their core strength, extremely weak. Extremely weak. So physically, those 3 things are very important to focus on, to the point where at the high school program I'm at, I've developed a whole core balance routine a couple of them actually. And one starts with standing on one foot. They can't stand on one foot. And once you get them to do that, you have them put their arms out. Then you have them move their arms, because they can't do it. So very basic motor skills need to be taught. Coordination, core. All of what I just did required all three of those, and they can't do it. So you might need to start with some very basic things, because our entire sport is concentrating with one foot at a time. I don't care what event you do. If you're throwing, jumping, running, hurdling, you're on one foot. Sometimes you're on no feet, and then you land back on one foot. Except for long jump, you kind of land on two, but you're up and back in sand, and that doesn't count. So it takes a lot of coordination and a lot of strength that they might not be used to. If they played, ball team sports growing up, that's good. That's great. I was soccer player. That's what I did. I ran all over the place. I realized I was much better at the running part than the dribbling part, so I got rid of the ball and just kept running. But that didn't, it was running and it didn't involve some coordination. How skilled were they really at it, or were they just running after the ball like the amoeba that runs after the ball? Right? So just try to teach those things. Try to just really dumb it down and dumb it down again. Start at the most basic level you can, because then you have everywhere to go is up. Then you don't have to retrace yourself and go back. So some basic physical things, teach them that. And again, if you're like in a cold weather or icy area, you can do that for the first week of practice. They might come up to you and say, Coach, are we ever going to run? Yes, we will run, I promise you. We have a track and field camp that we do for middle school, actually 5th grade through 9th graders through Lutheran West. And the first day, half the practice or session, we're just teaching them to warm up. And then they're like, are we going to run? Yes, we're going to run. Don't worry about it. You'll run. It's going to be okay. So then they want to do it even more. So you start by running, they're like, can we stop? I don't have to explain this to you. Whatever they're doing, they want to do the next thing that's the opposite. But whatever, just work with it. All right, then we move on to the rules of the sport. Please help them to understand the rules of the sport. I used to be a starter for the huge CYO programs up in the Cleveland area. I was a starter. And I had a kid show up to the starting line for the 100. Number one, he had his blocks facing the other way. And number two, it was on a track that had a curved line that went across the starting line, and so he had him facing the wall. So they was going with the lane, but not the right lane. It was the curved part of the lane, and the blocks were facing the other way. So okay, I had the gun up, and that's when I noticed it, because I saw him putting them down, but I guess I was looking else, and everyone stand up, and I went ahead and teach this kid, like, okay, if you can't use these, you can't use them, that's fine, but let's at least get this coordinator in. So that, teaching the basic rules of the sport. We have a lot of kids that might come in that have, again, maybe don't have a track at the middle school, and you're starting off, and then you go to the high school track and get to use it. They have no idea that 4 times around is a mile. They have no idea how large the track is. Tell them. It's not insulting. Tell them it's 400 meters. It's a quarter mile around the track. Start math skills. How many math teachers do we have? Many. I thought there'd be one. Math. That's track is math. Stats, algebra, geometry, it's physics. It's just math and science all over the place. Remember, I'm an attorney. I was really bad at that kind of stuff. But I learned the stuff that I needed to know. But know the rules of the sport. How do you go in and out of the ring? How do you, when you're going for your approach, understand that, it's not okay to have your toe this much over the line, when you're long jumping. It's a foul, it's a failure, and you're going to fix it. It's okay. But teach them those rules so that they know, so that when they get to high school, they're not, shocked that there are rules they have to follow. And then pushing beyond their comfort zone. A lot of them, again, might have been on a team sport where there might have been a standout player. They may or may not have been that person, but it can be very comforting to be surrounded by people all doing the same thing at the same time, trying to get a basket or a goal or whatever it might be, a touchdown. But they had that comfort zone around them where not everybody's looking at them the whole time. Track, field, that exposes you. everyone's looking at, not really looking at you, but they feel, because they're in middle school, everyone's looking at them. This is them and the universe all around them, right? Because it's but they need to step out of that comfort zone. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So now we have those basics in our mind. We need to know, what's our coaching staff look like? Do you have a coaching staff? Gosh, I hope so. Hopefully you have at least one person that's helping you. But how many coaches do you have? What are their talents? What do they bring to the table? Where are their strengths? What is it that they're going to be able to do, and how are you all going to work together as a team? You are a team. You're a team of coaches. You need to work together to manage how many ever kids you have. There are middle school programs up in Cleveland, Ohio area that allow for credit for phys ed by joining the track team. 250 kids later, that's a lot of kids. I don't know if any of you have that dilemma. Oh, I see one hand raising. Oh, yeah, it's a rough one. But hey, I guess it's exposing more kids to track and field. Hopefully they're doing something. But if they're going to be there, let's do something with them and let's manage them the best we can. So who's in charge of what? And it doesn't have to be one person in charge of the whole practice. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a lot of kids to manage that have no idea what they're doing, or some do, but most don't. But they need to have a focal point. So decide what's going to happen in that practice, who's going to be in charge of that section of practice, and have your assistant coaches or the other groupings of coaches go in and out and work around and be hands-on with the kids. Because they need to know how to move their bodies, that basic motor skill thing I was talking about. I have kids, I tell them to go down in the tabletop position. I show it to them, I don't just use the words, I actually show them. And try to do a fire hydrant, where they're supposed to lift up their knee, up and over their hip and down. The boys can't do it. Their hips are very thick and not very mobile, the boys especially. Or doing a donkey kick, I want them to put that that leg up and then bring their heel towards their head, clearly. All of it, I'm describing it, I'm showing it, and I just have them kicking their foot out. They can't do it. You have to actually put your hands on their knee and their foot and have them move it up and down. Do it so that the one kid next to them can watch it and they can see it. They have to see it, they have to feel it, they have to know it. But you need to be hands-on with them and help around as they're doing it. Don't expect them to just be able to do it by you using your words. Not going to. So you just had that focal point, had the helpers integrating in, and really helping hands-on. Then we look at the whole season. So we've talked about like individual components and some just overviews of that, but you got to plug this into the season. Please keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Don't rack your brains over it. Make it as simple as you can, because the hard part is teaching them how to do a donkey kick. That's the hard part. The easy part should be laying out when we're going to do this, how we're going to do this. And here's what I always start with. And it doesn't matter what level coach you are. You lay out your whole calendar. If you're a visual person, you do that. Whatever works for you. But if you're a visual person, you lay it all out there, and you plug in all your meets. So you know where those meets are going to be in your week. Do you have weekday meets only? Do you have Saturday meets? Do you have both? What is it that you have? So first plug in the meets, the competitions. Then know where your starting point is for the first day of practice, and then the last meet of the year or the season. Then start looking and saying, okay, where can we start doing some intense days? You work backwards. So you start at the end of the season, and then you work your way back to the start of the season. You plug in when are your intense days going to be. You don't want to have an intense day, no matter what field event it is, or running event, or jumping event. You want to do that long jump day where you're taking 20 jumps in practice, which you should never do. The day before their first meet. Okay, that's a bad thing. You shouldn't do that. So make a plan for that. So look at where your meets are. Make sure you don't have an intense day butted up against a meet day. So plug those in so that there's allowing for recovery days. So make sure there's a recovery day in there. Again, it doesn't matter what event group you are, you need to have recovery. I can't stress enough how much it's imperative that recovery is a part of the training. If you don't have recovery, you're not training. All you're doing is beating up your kids. You want them to come back to the sport. So it's not always about just train hard. How much more can I do? Give a day of recovery. You have a question?
Do you make any adjustment for the ones that are open gym basketball?
What do you mean exactly?
Well, I got several of the boys that they do the basketball in the spring also.
Oh, I see.
In the evening, so here you are, you're playing out in practice, and then as the season goes along, you start noticing your high jumpers and long jumpers, their legs are dead.
The question is, what if you have an athlete who also does open gym basketball, or maybe just some multi-sport? They're doing two sports at the same time.
Or volleyball.
Right, exactly. It's we have this all the time that we deal with. But yes, that's a whole other thing. Yes, I need you to tell them it's okay to try to do things in the middle school level. When they get to high school, they're gonna have to choose. But very good point. They are multi-sport athletes doing it at the same time at a younger age. Great. They should be exposed to many different things. You do need to know that. So if you have a jumper that's declining as the season goes on, then you find out that they were doing some basketball thing or whatever it was, jail volleyball, yeah, you're going to need to scale back on that kid. You're going to need to take that time to scale back. At the middle school level, you make those accommodations. But please always make the notation with them. But when you go to high school, you're not going to be able to do both, or at least not well. Say it nicely though, and then make sure that they win a lot of stuff at track and field, so they'll just do that. But it is a very good point. Know what your kids do outside of your sport so that you're not physically beating them up on top of what they're already doing elsewhere. Because we make a plan, we have a training plan, because that's what our sport is based on. When your other sports aren't based upon individual development, it's more of a team development. Just a different concept. It's not a bad concept, it's just a different concept of training. So good question. So yes, make sure you have recovery days, and those kids might need a little bit more when it comes to recovery. All right, so individual practice sessions, how do we start them? You're going to need to do what works for you. This is where the art of coaching comes into play. There's the science of coaching and there's the art of coaching. And you got to marry the two together sometimes. So, as a middle school program, you again might have some more veteran kids that might feel a little insulted by it, but they're just going to have to be patient and help the others. And then you have the kids that have no idea what's going on. I always suggest the middle school level, bring them all together to start, and this goes against any concept of like high-end training, obviously. You're never going to really be, having the throwers warm up with the distance kids. It's just not you shouldn't do that, but at the middle school level, it's okay. It really is. Because you're starting at a basic level, it's okay. And you can kind of introduce them to different things from each event group. And who knows, you might find a discus thrower out of it when they thought they were a distance runner. Because they're just strong, they got long limbs and levers and they can move. I mean, you don't know. So it's okay to warm them up all together. It also creates some bonding and keeps them all in one place, so maybe you can learn their names, work that way. But bringing them together is a good thing at the middle school level. Taking attendance. Now, depending upon how large your program is, you might not be able to stand there and read off everybody's name. Again, you got to know your own program, do what you can. But it is nice if every kid, every practice could hear their name. They're somebody special then. You said their name today. It might not seem like a big deal, but it can be. Because if you have a medium to larger size program, they might not ever have had their name called. Believe it or not, during the day, nobody said my name. Recognize me. I'm here. I am somebody. Just by calling out their name and saying, hey, and randomly, say, oh, that's a really cool shirt. Where'd you get that one today? Pick somebody out randomly every day and make them feel special. It's just a nice way to start it off. Plus, it gets their attention. And just because you're not calling their name doesn't mean that they get to talk. Of course, that's high school. Maybe it's high school. I don't know. They can talk whenever they want. But anyway, so take attendance, and the purpose not only take attendance, but say their name, make them feel a part of it. Then you need to explain practice. This is not in any particular order, by the way. You gotta figure out how you want to do this. I usually start, I'm in a Christian school, we start with a prayer. That gets them to be quiet. I love it, it's great. Okay, we're gonna pray now. And then they're like, okay, who wants to pray? All of a sudden, nobody talks. Really? So then you need to explain practice. And this is to the whole group, so it's not going to say attached to everybody, but say something. And their attention span is about 8 seconds or less. So that's about what you have to work with. So choose your words wisely. Remember, I'm an attorney. I have lots of words. 8 seconds is really hard for me. It's really, really hard. But do what you can. Keep it simple. Keep it short, because next, they're going to be doing their warm-up and moving around, and you got to manage all of that. But that's just how you can get at least started. But have a plan for it so it doesn't go out of control. When you thought warm-up was going to take 10 minutes and all of a sudden it took 25 and you only have an hour and a half practice. So that might be the first few days, but hopefully we'll get it under wraps as we move along. All right. So then, our sport, it's a bunch of individual groupings after that. So we have, like 4 teams within one. You got your throwers, you got your jumpers, you got your sprinters, you got your distance kids. Your kids that have no idea where they need to be because we don't know what they can do yet. We're trying to figure it out. So you have your individual group sessions or breakouts. So after you bring the whole group, break them out. And then you kind of do it again as an event group coach. You explain to them, okay, this is what we're going to do. Again, remember the 8-second rule. But it's not the only 8 seconds you're going to have. You're going to do it in small chunks. So first, we're going to do this. This is going to be our specific warm-up for this event group. Okay, this is what we're doing. Okay, now we did that. That's going to help us do the next thing. Break it down. Break it down. Small chunks. Really small chunks. Because otherwise you're going to sound like Charlie Brown's teacher and blah, 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 blah. They're going to hear nothing. So small chunks along the way, and make sure that they really get it. Make sure, ask them, why are we doing this? Have them repeat back. Make them understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. They'll remember eventually. They will. And then at the end of practice, again, this is where the art of coaching comes in. How do you want to do it? Do you want to bring the whole team back together? Is that feasible? It might not be. At the high school level, there's no way. That doesn't happen. Distance kids, we're out running, for 45 more minutes. And the sprinters are, doing their plyo stuff, and they're doing barefoot drills in the sand, and the throwers, they're finding all their implements that they lost in the trees. And, they're all over the place. So that might not be feasible to bring them back in as a whole group, but definitely bring your event group back together. You got to have some closure, okay? Don't just leave it open-ended, because it's just like letting them out into the wild. Oh goodness, when are they going to come back? So bring it back together, regroup them, give them some compliments. Compliment their progress. Make sure they know that they did a good job. Don't make it up, but there's got to be something that happened. Right? Not to point anybody out in particular. It can be a group thing, whatever. Art of coaching. But address the corrections that are needed. What corrections need to be done as a whole group, or individuals, and not pointing anybody out. We're in middle school. We don't want to be different. But make sure that they understand. Okay, well, this is something we really need. I saw this today, and we're going to work on that tomorrow. So they're thinking, okay, you start making think tomorrow. What's going to happen tomorrow? To give those corrections. And announce tomorrow's practice. Okay, this is what we're going to do tomorrow, so looking forward to that. Make sure to remind them of things that they might need to bring, something special. They all forgot their water bottles. Make sure they remember to bring their water, whatever it is. So remind them of things. And then have them again, repeat it. Okay, so when is practice tomorrow? 3:30, coach. Okay, what do you need to bring tomorrow that's special? Our water bottles. Okay, just, I don't care how annoying it is to them. Your job is to be annoying to them. That's your whole job. That's why you get paid the big bucks. Be so annoying. It's wonderful. And then send them out on a positive. Always send them out on a positive that they felt like they accomplished something. Bring them in and do a little cheer. Let them make up a cheer, whatever. Whatever seems to be fun and works for them, so that they want to come back tomorrow and do it all over again. So we'll move on to the students. And our students, they are not independent thinkers. They're learning how to be, but they're not. It's okay. That's your job. We're educators. As coaches, as teachers, as whatever we are educating them to be independent thinkers. They're not quite there yet. And then, believe it or not, they regress when they come to high school as sophomores because they found their voice and they just use it all the time. But they're still not using this anyway. It's a conjunction thing there's a missing synapse in there somewhere. But they are sponges. They are sponges. You're going to teach them so much stuff in the 10 weeks that you have. And you might walk away from the season thinking they didn't learn anything. They did. They'll learn the good and they'll learn the bad. So try to fill it more with good. But they are sponges. They will pick up on stuff. Things that you didn't even think that they were listening to or watching, they will pick it up. So just be careful what you're teaching them. So we want to be basic. We want to be exact. Those are the basic two requirements right there. So you want to keep it simple. You want to be exact about it so that they know what the rules are, like I was talking about. It's your little toenail went over that long jump. That's a foul. You're done. Sorry. That was your first chance. Don't do it 2 more times. Else you're out. So the basics. The basics, where to be. This might be the first experience they have going from school to an activity with no parent picking them up, giving them their bag, walking to the door, dropping them off with stuff, and then leaving. This might be the first time they've had the opportunity to get themselves from point A to point B with a major transition in there, changing clothes, knowing what to wear, and then where to be. Wow. I mean, we do that every 5 minutes of our life. They may not have done it before, because they got cars everywhere. So make sure they know where to need to be, when they need to be there, what time, and what do they need to bring. You're going outside tomorrow, and it's going to be 40 degrees, and they're showing up with a t-shirt and shorts. Put some clothes on. Put some clothes on. Hats, gloves, these things, that type of stuff. Or it gets to finally be warm, they think it's cold, and they show up with the tights finally, and a sweatshirt, and it's 72 degrees outside. Where are your shorts? I didn't bring any, it was 50 when I left the house. Well, it's not 50 now. They need to learn, it's okay, they'll make mistakes, they'll be really hot that day, but oh well. It's better than being cold. Cold, we can't do that. And cold, be hot, deal with it. They'll learn. So just those really basic things. It's so important. And that's really helpful to me as a high school coach, so that when they get there, I don't have to teach them that stuff. Well, they'll forget. You did your best. But at least when we remind them, they'll be able to learning curve again. But be exact about things. So we want to teach them perfection. They're not going to be perfect. They're not. It's okay, but we want to teach them to try to be perfect. We want to make sure that when they're doing a drill and we're doing A skips, that they're not some letter of the alphabet we've never seen before, okay? So make sure that you know how to do it, and if you physically can't do it, you show a video, because everybody, they'll love that, they'll see that, and then you can teach them, oh look, this is Carl Lewis doing this type of a drill. They don't know who Carl Lewis is. I have high schoolers that don't know who Carl Lewis is. Anyway, so then you get to teach them something about their sport. Give them a little bit of insight, a little bit of history. Make sure that they understand it existed before they were born. Be patient with them. Obviously, they're not going to learn it the first 17 times, maybe the 18th time if you're lucky, but just keep showing it to them, make sure they understand. But don't let them get frustrated. Please don't, because that's when they leave. Because it's so much easier to go be a part of a team sport, which, again, I was a team sport kid too, love them, go to all the basketball games, support all my kids, but it's just, it's easier in that concept to be a team sport athlete, where in this one, everything is on you, and you can't rely on your teammates to pick you up when you're not doing it quite right, and you don't want them to feel insufficient. You want them to feel, accomplished, and it's okay to fail. It is okay to fail. We're going to pick this up again tomorrow. You did a really good job of it. Think about this. We'll work on it tomorrow. It's okay. It's fine. So be patient with them, and just be encouraging, and just be willing to repeat it again and again and again, but so that they're positive about it. And then teach them real confidence, the want versus the need. Not everybody gets a trophy. They don't all get trophies. You're going to go home feeling not accomplished one day. It's okay. It's okay, because you're going to come back tomorrow, we're going to regroup, and we're going to be excited about our sport, and we're going to be ready to go again. So, what do they want? They want to be recognized, but not in a bad way, and not too much. And because I'm having a really weird day at school, I don't want any recognition at all, because I don't want anybody else to look at me. Oh, gosh. The psychology of a middle schooler, God help them all. They do want to please other people. They want to please you. They want to please their friends. They want to please, they do want to do that. Sometimes they want to please in a weird way to their friends because they want to be a clown. Okay, that's not the right way to please somebody. So that they do want to please you. So teach them what's the right way to please your team, to please your teammates, to please me as a coach. Teach them how to do that. And they, of course, don't want to be different, but they are. All of them, they're aliens, but they're okay. They don't want to be different, and our sport, again, has that individual aspect that we do need to work with them one-on-one, but it's okay. Make sure they understand that's okay. So what do they need? They need praise. You need to give them praise. They're there, they're working hard, give them the praise. Don't just make it up because you need to make it up. Make sure you find something that's truly worthy of praise. There's going to be something for each and every one. Find it. Even the most difficult of difficult kids. There's going to be something. We've all had them. Might be this much of something, but you'll find it. And then give them that correction. Make sure that, again, that they understand it's okay to screw it up the first time, maybe the second time, the third time, they're going to get better at it. And that's what our sport's about. It's finding that correction. And it's a really cool thing about our sport is you got another race, you got another meet, you'll have another attempt. That next one is going to come, and you're going to make it better. You're just starting middle schoolers. You're going to have lots of opportunities to come. You don't have to get it right the first time, but you're going to try to get it right the next time. Fair enough. That encouragement, always tell them that they did a good job. Really, find something that they did good and praise them for it and give them the encouragement to make it better even the next time. Because again, you want them to come back. It's a great sport. Have them come back. Then we're going to find our leaders out of our practice sessions. You're going to start to see as the season goes on who's willing and able to lead in the proper, appropriate way. So that's when you're watching and you're learning. That's why you bring them together as a group when you start. You start seeing who's doing things right, who's helping somebody without them being asked to help them. You start to see who the leaders are. And then reward them with responsibilities. Hey, you're doing a good job showing Molly how to do that, whatever it was. Can you take this group over here and show them how to do that? Oh, yeah. And they'll be excited about that. Give them some responsibility. Like, hey, you did a really good job with this. Why don't you stay a little bit here and we're going to work on this throw now. Will you gather all these items and help me take them back? Just constantly give them things to do. Make them feel that they are worthy and they are worthwhile and they are worth the team's time, your time. They're gonna know that they're pleasing you. And they're gonna want to come back. And those type of kids have friends like them and they'll bring those kids in too. So our sport, as I mentioned before, has a lot of exposure. And at the middle school level, it's really interesting because at the high school level, and I'm a private Christian school, we don't have just one feeder school. We don't have just one middle school program that feeds into the high school program. We're coming from all different directions. And I'll have parents go, oh, you should see this one kid, he's coming up, he's a beast, he's this, he's that, this one girl, oh, she can run like the wind, oh, she's great, she's wonderful, Well, middle school kids, there are going to be those boys that matured at the age of 12 and they were stronger and taller and bigger than everybody at that age, and then that's where they stop. And then they get to high school and everybody else kept going and they didn't. They used to be the top of the class athletically, and then all of a sudden they get to high school and they're just average. Everybody else grew 6 inches. They were 5'10" in 6th grade, which they were huge, and they actually had muscles. They matured somehow, whatever. And then not so much. All of a sudden their friends are 6'2", and they're strong stronger and faster in other ways. So it does expose you, but doesn't mean that they're less of an athlete. And that's what they need to understand. Because they will have the physical aspect still there, but still going to take a lot of hard work. They might have had the raw talent and physical ability, or you see some of the younger girls on the distance side. You see these girls that are running a 508 mile in 7th grade. Good job. I was like, oh, wait till you get this girl. Oh, you're going to make her state champion. She's going to go to nationals. She's going to be this. She's going to be that. She's going to be great. I'll watch the kids finish the race. Go, sir. Did you have fun? Yeah. Good. Walk away. She might run a 508 in 7th grade. Who knows what's going to happen between 7th grade and all the nice physical maturity stuff that's going to happen between then and sophomore year in high school. Because hips start doing different things and all kinds of external factors will start happening. And it's hard. It takes more hard work to put into it to keep that level. When your body's changing, the demands are changing, and you might have seen that raw physical talent, but you need it. It didn't take a lot of hard work. God bless them, good job. But now it's going to take some harder work going on. They're going to need to get into the weight room. Make sure those hip flexors are nice and strong. The girls with the hips, the boys with the knees. Boys and knees, not pretty. Girls and hips, not pretty. Then they find each other, the boys and the girls, and I tell them, track is their boyfriend, track is your girlfriend, no more. That's all it is. And a young lady that came up to me, as one of my athletes, she's, gosh, where's she now, 25, and she came home for Christmas, and she goes, she brought her boyfriend home. Coach, track is no longer my boyfriend. It's okay, you're 25. And he's a lovely young man, and he runs, so it's okay, it's fine. But the hard work is going to help. And that's where you're giving those kids that confidence as they're building up and you're building your program. Those kids that might not be the physical specimens in middle school, but you teach them how to work hard, and they will excel at whatever level they're at, and it will keep happening as they develop in high school. So it's pretty cool. Actually, that's my favorite moment of coaching, is when I have a group of kids who might not be the most, physical specimens of the world, but man, they all come together and they kill it. And nobody saw it coming. Oh, it's even better. Where'd you get those? I found them in the basement. All right. Recognizing success equals fun. Make the sport fun. It's cold outside in the beginning of track season. Seriously, 95% of the time it's just nasty out. Whether it's rainy, it's cold, it's something. It's something falling out of the sky and you have lots of layers on. That's pretty much that. Until the last meet and it's 90 degrees and then they're hot. So you have to make it fun, give them recognition. School announcements, this is my story, and again, from a few years ago. I was a wallflower. I use all my words now, I didn't use them then. I started hearing my name on the announcements because I would win a race here and there. Wow, I got my name on the announcements. This is a pretty cool thing. I kind of liked it. It didn't require me to say anything. I just did something, and somebody else did the talking for me. So that was my little thing. I thought it was pretty cool. And so I get the kids' names, even the high school level. Not talking about just winning races. This is what I do for the announcements. I put the winners of the races, of the events, the field events, and all of that, and then everybody that had a PR. Nobody in between. They're going to work harder, either for a PR to win, whatever, and they can do either. They get a PR, they get their name on the announcements. Why not? All the other sports are like, why does she have announcements every week? They can figure that out. So that's something that I do. My high school coach did this. I'm sure many of yours in the past have done this, or you do this. We do golden spike field events. We have golden discus award and the golden shot put award. I find beads. I spray paint them gold, and I tape them onto a card stock, and I write golden spike award, a golden shot put award. I put their PR or whatever it is. Again, not because they won something, but because they accomplished something. Maybe they didn't even need a PR, whatever, something. And this isn't that everybody gets a trophy thing. They have to earn it. But they get that recognition in practice. Maybe when you bring everybody together right after attendance, makes them feel proud, they have something to take with them, whatever. Something nice. The local paper, if you still have those, even though it's a middle school program, it's okay. If you have a really cool group shot of them, they just won something or whatever, just take that picture, send it in with a caption. They might just put that in. And everyone's, oh, look at my kid. They'll help them sell more papers because everybody wants to see their kid in the paper because your papers don't sell anymore. So we tell them that they'll help themselves. And write everything out exactly as it is. When you have the picture, write out first row, left to right, every single name. Second row, left to right, every single name. Do all the work for the journalist. Do it for all of them. I write my articles. Send it in. They'll put it in. Less work for them, and they'll get the recognition, and their parents love it. All right, family members, just support your kid. You see this keep it simple, stupid thing I keep putting up? Yeah. You do all the hard work, but keep it simple for everybody else. Make sure they understand what to supply their kid with. Running shoes. Please don't show up to running practice with basketball shoes on. It just hurts my eyes looking at you. It's just as bad. The drop-off time, if you have a drop-off time, if you have to go, I don't know if that applies to some of you, but definitely a pickup time. You gotta come get their kid. Please come get your kid. Make sure they have a location, a pickup time. Their kid is not an Olympian. They're 12. They're 13. They're not Olympians. So when that parent comes up to you and says, hey, I was watching this video on, I think that, he's really good at this or she's really good at that. Maybe they should do this workout. That's a great shirt you have on. Did I tell you what your kid is? Did a really nice job helping Molly the other day. Thank you. Don't answer the question. Don't recognize they said anything. Just divert. Move along. Their kid is not Olympian. They had that girl that runs a 508, and their mom has a shirt. My daughter, and she's not. Okay, seriously, not an Olympian. Now, if they go to the Olympics, you can wear that shirt. I'll wear one. No. But help them just scale down like 17 notches, please. And just love your kid. Just love them. Just tell them to love their kid. What do you need from me? What do you need? Just love your kid. That's it. Please, just keep it really simple. They're not Olympians. They're just middle schoolers. They're going to forget most of what they just learned like 5 minutes from that, but they'll remember it when they need it. That's okay. And they're going to be on to what Molly did, on Instagram yesterday. They'll still remember that. But just love your kid. So posting. I told you I'd get back to posting things. And this gets really into a lot of the family member stuff because they need to know things. Because they still are in charge of their kid. Even though their kid is now learning how to go from school to practice, they still need to have the right stuff. They need to know when to be there. Maybe you're going to have, a sign up or two if there's going to be some snacks after practice and you want to help facilitate. Don't do it yourself. Help facilitate it. 3 ways to do it. Use the school website. You have a really great webmaster that puts content up, keeps it up to date, keeps things posted. Talk to that webmaster, see what you can do to use your own school's website. If it's a readily used thing with your audience of people, fine, do that. Something that we use is called TMAP. And I have no connection to TMAP whatsoever. It's just what we use, and it's been a really big game changer. So it's tmap.com. You can individualize it as you see here. I made that. Isn't that cool? That feels so high tech. My son is in college and he's learning about software engineering, and I was like, look what I did. It's like, wow, good job. I impressed my kid. That's a really good day. But on there, you can have the event schedule with the whole calendar of all the practices, all the meets. And what's really cool about the meets, you can put the address in, where all they do is they touch the address on their smartphone, and it pulls up in Google Maps or whatever, and gives them the directions from wherever they are standing at that moment. This is glorious. I mean, how many hours do I used to spend doing directions from the north and the east and south, typing it up, posting it, or whatever, and having a mistype and put south instead of north, oops, my bad. And they went the wrong way. It's right there. It's wonderful. Those little icons there, you can customize them how you want. You can put whatever content you want on there. There's a place where it's called gallery. You can put photos, you can put a video, and you can put up to 3 photos in one posting with a title, and people can cheer it. They don't like it, they cheer it. It's really cool. And the kids can have access to it too. So it's fun to use. And you can highlight things. If you have a group that, had a relay that won, you get them all together, and they're cheering, they have their medals on, and Mom and Dad think it's wonderful. So that's a really cool thing. I suggest looking into it. It's totally free, 100% free. Works on Androids and on iPhones, so everybody will know where they need to be, when they need to be there, and then you can make it fun along the way. And then Google Classroom. How many of you are Google Classroom teachers? Okay, so a fair amount. You can make your own classroom if that's something that parents and kids are used to anyway. A lot of what I do on the Team app, you can do in Google Classroom as well. So that's something that you can use. So find your virtual posting board. Still have a bulletin board. So you can post things right outside the locker room or by the doors or whatever it is. You'll still have that there ready to go, but have your virtual stuff ready to go because we all know that's how it goes. So, our 3 groups of people, we have our coaches, be organized, there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts. Nothing is going to go as planned, but at least have a plan to start with. And be ready to go for that. Our students, empower them the right way. Give them the praise that they need. Help them to understand what it means to please people the right way, and bring it in as a team. Always bring that team concept back in. Even though we're an individual sport basis, we're a team. And the stronger you are as a whole unit with your student body, the better team you're going to have, and it's more fun for everyone. It's really a cool thing. And then our family members, just love and support them. It's as simple as that. Just show up, tell them you love them, tell them good job. That's it. Do not analyze what they're doing on the car ride home. Just say you did a great job and now we're going to go get ice cream. That's it. That's all we're going to do. So that's what I have to present. I hope you found at least one thing to take with you today. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them. Anybody have a question? Yes.
We share our track with the varsity as well. So how do you kind of manage that? We share coaches too. We're not going to be coaches.
Right.
So, they start a little bit later than us. They're high school's further away than we are from the stadium. So we're doing our warm-ups and things, and they just get started when we're finished.
So the question is, you share a track with, your middle school, high school program share a track. Everybody's on there at the same, relatively same time. You start and finish at different times. How do we manage that? That's when you talk to those high school coaches ahead of time before the season starts. Figure out when you're going to be there, when they need to be there. What are you doing? Are you doing a high intensity day while they're doing a recovery day? Because your meets are probably on different days. So your recovery day might be their intensity day. Do you even need to go to the track that day? Can you do your recovery off-site? So this way it frees it up for that, and then vice versa. Or if you only have one meet that week, and you can kind of play around with when you do your intense day. Maybe they have a away meet that day. That would be a great day to do it, so that you're not running into each other. So that's why you need to talk to the high school coaches together to plan those situations. Any other questions before we wrap it up? Yes.
How do you juggle specific training, like teaching people who have never long jumped or high jumped, and then still having your sprinters and hurdlers do their work? Because we all know how distracted they get quickly. And the time it takes to teach someone a long jump, their sprinters already doing other stuff.
The question is, how do you juggle the more advanced kids from those that are just the beginners so that you're not losing the interest and they're going all over the place? You're going to need to learn your audience in the first week or so, and everything's going to be basic, and you just tell the kids, all right, some of you might already know this, but we're going to just go over it again. So this is what we're doing, so just pay attention, and if you feel that you know this, you can help somebody, please jump in and help them. That's okay if you know who those kids are, so you can give them some responsibility right off the bat if you've already coached them for a season. And then you'll start to see, okay, how many coaches do you have? Well, I'm going to have you work with the beginner kids and focus on them over here today. I'll work with the more advanced kids. You don't have that luxury. I've been in that position. I don't have that luxury. I'm the only distance coach for guys and girls, and it's difficult. You really have to get creative. And if you have more advanced kids that are a little bit more responsible, then you can have them maybe work together on something that you know they can do without your assistance, while you work with the more beginner kids. The art of coaching. Yeah, it's difficult. Well, thank you so much. If you have any questions for me, my email is up here, it's in the materials. Thank you.